The Charlotte Ledger Podcast is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network.
Hey, it's Tony Messia with the Charlotte Ledger, and you're listening to the Charlotte Ledger Podcast. You can find out more about the Charlotte Ledger by going to thecharlotteledger.com. Today's podcast is part of a special series we're doing in which we interview winners of the Charlotte Ledger's 40 Over 40 Awards. The recipients are people ages 40 and up who are making a big difference in the Charlotte area, people who saw a need and took action. You can find out more at ledger40over40.com. The host of today's podcast is Steve Dunn. In his day job, he's a mediator who offers dispute resolution services through the Charlotte office of Miles Mediation and Arbitration. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Charlotte Ledger Podcast. I'm Steve Dunn. I'm joined today by Emily Harry, co-founder of Baby Bundles, an organization that provides a bag full of necessities to mothers in need as they leave the hospital with their newborn. Welcome, Emily.
Thank you, Steve. Excited to be here.
What's in the bag? Great
question. The bag is what we like to call a baby shower in a bag. So if you think back to your baby shower or attending a friend's baby shower, you pretty much shower them with everything they need for a newborn. Everything from hats to soft blankets to PJs to outfits to socks, warm and fuzzy blankets. And we also include developmental books and toys for the mom and to stimulate the baby with and to really create that bond with. So that bag is really a baby shower in a bag, all wrapped up for them.
And this is for folks who may not have been fortunate enough to have a baby shower.
Oh, absolutely. I would say none of our moms have had a baby shower. They usually leave the hospital with our bag, and that is what they're going to clothe their baby with. And we clothe that baby for the first year to 18 months of that baby's life, which is tremendous if you think of the stress that's lifted off that new mom if they don't have to provide those basic everyday necessities.
How do you actually do it? Like, where do you get the stuff that goes in the bags, and how do you find the people to give the bags to?
Sure. Great question. I always like to reflect back when we started about 11 years ago. We started in one of our co-founders' living rooms, and the three of us, Heather, Kat, and I, spent an entire weekend putting 25 bundles together, and we were absolutely exhausted. And then fast forward to today, last year, 2023, we gave out 2,556 bundles. So that is a tremendous jump. And so we've obviously had to get very sophisticated through the years. In the beginning, people were clearing out their attics with all their old hand-me-down baby clothes. And through the years, we have partnered with different wholesalers who give us product at a discounted rate. And we also work with an organization called Delivering Good, where we pay them a percentage, and then they give us a percentage amount of clothing in return. So it's a little bit of everything. We buy, we get gifts, but we accept all these clothing items out at our warehouse off of Arrowwood Road. And we have just a army of volunteers who put these baby shower in a bags together. I might add, last year alone, we had just shy of 2,000 volunteers come through our warehouse, which is pretty fantastic.
When do the moms get the bags? Is it as they're leaving, being wheeled out the door with their baby in their arms?
Sure. We actually have 18 partner agencies, a lot of just fantastic organizations you'd be very familiar with across Charlotte. Crisis Assistance, Ronald McDonald House, The Relatives, Communities in Schools, Latin American Coalition, obviously Novant, and Atrium Health. So some of our moms do. They deliver the baby, and 48 hours later when they're leaving, they leave with the bundle in hand when they leave with their baby. But many of these are working with these amazing nonprofits in town. They've already reached out to them as a pregnant mom needing assistance. So we provide those bundles to all those organizations. So it's another touch point for those organizations to help those new moms, and a service almost, honestly, for them to be able to pass along. Obviously, it is from Baby Bundles, but we are able to really help fill many voids across the city with these organizations to give this baby shower in a bag to their moms.
So the bag's got clothes, blankets, books, everything that a new mother might need. Has the stuff in the bag, has it changed over time? Have you responded over the years to add things or take things out based on feedback that you've received?
Interesting question. We've actually several times throughout our existence, we were founded in February of 2011. We have gone back to our partners, so many of those I just named, and we've said, is the bag still working for you? Because we want to hear from the mothers that get the bag. Does the bundle provide what you need? And time again, they come back to us and they say, everything we need is in the bundle, which is pretty amazing. And I think one of the reasons we have been successful is we've never really had scope creep, mission creep. We really created this roadmap, created what was in this bundle. And all these years later, it is still there and it's still strong. It remains true to what we originally founded it as.
Okay, let's dwell on that a little bit. I've been involved in nonprofits myself. I talk to a lot of people who are involved in nonprofits, and the concept of mission creep is one that may be familiar to people in that world, but may not be a term that is well known to people outside of that world. It's a bit of a scourge of the nonprofit world, and when I think of mission creep, I think what I hear you say is that we started out as an organization that delivered bags of useful stuff to new mothers as they left the hospital, and that's what we're still doing, and we're still doing it strong. We haven't opened a cafe. We haven't gotten into any some other line of business. Is that your understanding of mission creep, and what do you see as the risks?
Through the years, so many people just excited about what we do have come to us and said, hey, have you ever thought about offering diapers and wipes? Have you ever thought about doing baby formula? Have you ever thought about doing car seats or cribs? And honestly,
what about older kids? What about
exactly.
old people in general?
Yeah, someone from Salisbury calls and says we want to start baby bundles there. I mean,
we could give bags to the people standing out at the red lights. There's all kinds of great ideas, and there's all kinds of needs in the world. But you found success in accomplishing your mission by being true to it and sustaining it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, because we're very honest about, we want to provide what is going to be best for these new moms. And we're willing to make a change if it's deemed that it's needed. But we ask and we ask and we ask, and they just say, this is exactly what we need. And, just from a whole operation standpoint, too, if you think about car seats or strollers or cribs, I mean, that was just beyond anything we could wrap our head around in terms of storage and safety and all the guidelines for things with risks through the years. So we honestly just, every time we have any new request, our board really gets together and we weigh it. Absolutely. And we just always come back to, you know what, this is what we hear from our moms. This is what they want. So we're going to stick with it. It's been a formula for success, and we're going to keep letting it ride.
You mentioned your co-founders, Heather Leavitt and Kat Long. I'd be remiss not to mention that all three of you are winners of the Charlotte Ledger 40 over 40 award. I have to ask, is this who is your PR person, and what kind of lobbying did you do to accomplish this?
Oh, you're funny. You're funny. We were all three of us delighted in this honor. We had some interactions with the Ledger through the years, and I think maybe our numbers just came up. I don't know. And we are all three just equally invested in this organization. The beauty of us is when we first came together, the three of us had just such unique strengths that all played into weaving the tapestry of our organization. And so we always joke, they always called me the money person, the financial person, and they'd have to write a business case in order to get $5 to spend on anything. And Heather was more of the marketing PR, and Kat was always operations. She ran our warehouse like no one else could. So we all were really fortunate to pull on each other's experiences and what we were just kind of destined to do. And it all came together for good.
Well, you mentioned your experiences and your skills and the way that they're complementary and how that serves the organization and has over the years. As co-founders, you also had an experience of loss together. Each of you lost babies. Mm-hmm. And it was through that shared experience that you were inspired to do the work that you're doing now. How does that inspire you day to day in the work that you do with baby bundles?
Sure. Well, when we came together, truly the reason we wanted to create baby bundles was that so that no one would forget the names of our children. They had such a short lifespan here on Earth. We wanted to be able to provide a long-term legacy for them. And boy, did we ever do that. This May will be 16 years ago that I lost our son. And to think that if you had told me 16 years ago that I'd be doing a podcast talking about this without shedding a tear, but honestly, a smile to my face thinking of what his life has now created and the rich blessings for him, for Heather's children, and for Kat's little girl, that they are just remembered by so many. They're in a card that goes in every single bundle. So those 5 names are just engraved all over this city on lots of children and all the outfits they wear. So it was definitely a way to heal, still is a way to heal. And as my children have grown up, as Kat's children have grown up, and Heather's children have grown up, it's been absolutely beautiful to see them volunteering in the warehouse, them coming to our annual events, and knowing it was for their brother or sister that they're while we're here.
I've been thinking about grief lately. It's an inspiration that you turn grief into positive energy and making a difference on behalf of others. I've been thinking lately about what do you say to people and how easy it is to inadvertently maybe say the wrong thing. My wife recently told me she'd read somewhere that if you need to help somebody out, what you don't do is go to them and say, hey, what can I do for you? Because that just kind of adds to their list of things to worry about, is to think of some way for you to help them, but rather to maybe make a suggestion or offer to just get out of the way. And I try to be better about that, but I can imagine that going through the particular kind of loss that you did, you're dealing with your inner life, which is hard in its own right. But at the same time, you're surrounded by folks who care and are motivated only by wanting to help, but have no frame of reference or way of understanding what you're going through. And I wonder, as you reflect on that now, how you relate to folks who are experiencing loss, and what words of wisdom you have for folks who want to know what to say or what to do.
My favorite go-to is just, I'm sorry. One thing that folks did for me that I have since done for almost 16 years, I had friends, coworkers, family members who would write to me on a regular basis. And maybe it was just a card, I'm thinking of you, Emily and David, or might just be a text. But there were folks who religiously reached out to us for that whole first year. And I will tell you, whenever someone loses someone, that is what I do. I have a constant rotation of people that I just simply have a stack of cards at home. And a lot of times the card says exactly what you want. And you just say, I'm always a text or a phone call away, thinking of you today. And it's amazing the people that come to me after they've sort of gotten through that hard time to say, I really look forward to your cards. Inevitably, I always got one on a day where I really needed some cheer and some inspiration. And guess what? I'm going to start doing that for folks who've lost somebody. So that's really, I feel like one of the greatest gifts I have received from loss is just knowing on such a practical way how to continue to let someone know that you're still thinking about them.
Tony Messia, when he introduces this podcast every time, he says something about the 40 over 40 award winners, people who saw a need and took action. And I think it's a great way of describing a lot of the folks, people who saw something out there that needed to be done and just rather than complaining about it or hoping that somebody else would take care of it, took care of it themselves. And in your case, you got together with your co-founders, Heather and Kat, and started Baby Bundles, which continues on to this day. But it's not the only thing that you've got going on. You are the type of person who's involved in a lot of stuff, and you credit your parents for giving you that inspiration and that direction in life. How did they form in your childhood and in your upbringing? What did they do that led you to where you are now?
Oh, well, I have the two best parents anyone could ask for. And honestly, they were role models. What they did and how they acted and how they volunteered. Both my parents were very active volunteers. My mom with the Junior League, American Lung Association, Florence Crittenden, my dad with the Senior Citizen Center. They were just amazing role models. I wanted to grow up and be them. I would go see my mom loading up to do a presentation on smoking to a school, and she'd take these freeze-dried lungs. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. But, that was just a small way. I saw what they did, and I wanted to do that. And I think another wonderful activity they did with us, I'm one of three, we volunteered a lot as a family. Every Christmas Eve, we would go to Presbyterian Hospital and wrap the gifts for the kids that were in the hospital. Growing up, we did friendship trays deliveries in the summer, which was so easy for a teenager. My mom would drive me around and I'd run the meals up to the doors. But I learned from them. I wanted to be them. And I think they created just an incredible empathy within me and a desire to want to help others from how they helped others.
Well, you're a bit of a rarity in Charlotte in that you were born here, a Charlotte native, born in Presbyterian Hospital.
Not many of us. We're unicorns.
Well, it's a growing number all the time. You've got kids. I've got kids born in Charlotte, but I'm not originally from Charlotte. I moved here when I was 13, which I think gives me a certain amount of credit. Mm-hmm. I claim that I'm from Charlotte. I'm more from Charlotte than I'm from anywhere else. Let's put it that way. But you've been here your whole life, and you've had an opportunity to observe Charlotte as it has changed and grown. And I wonder what that's like for you and what you've noticed about this town and why you choose to still be here today.
Oh, I love Charlotte. And I will say I have left. I lived out west for a while after college and I migrated back. And, for me, there's a beautiful familiarity to Charlotte, even now, today, as it's changed so much. I just think it's such a gracious city. I think there's so much to offer. There are wonderful people here. There are just endless things to do on a daily basis, endless ways to be involved, so many great other nonprofits in town. It's just, I feel like a very lively place to be and just full of, in my opinion, really great people. I love to meet new people and make new friends and make new connections. I was just at the Jumpman Invitational the other week and just got talking to a lady in the line to get a drink, and come to find out she works for JP Morgan Chase here in Charlotte. She heads up a women's professional executive group, and she used to be a doula. And we just started talking about baby bundles, and here we're going to have coffee in a couple weeks, and she wants to learn more about us. So I'm the kind of person, when I head out, I want to meet somebody new, and I feel like there are just endless ways to meet really new, cool, smart, inspiring people here.
I think that's true. And another thing about Charlotte is that with all that's going on here from a business standpoint, there's a constant influx of new people, young people coming into Charlotte, recent college graduates coming to Charlotte to start their careers. And a growing city, it's one of the things about it is that it is a magnet for youth and energy. And here we are both over 40, talking about being over 40 in connection with the Charlotte 40 Over 40 Award. And I wonder, as you're out in the world, meeting younger people who may be looking to do and accomplish some of the same things that you've done and accomplished in your life, like what sort of words of wisdom or advice you would have for a person starting out in a career and looking to make a difference?
Well, I'd say first, welcome to Charlotte, because it's endless opportunities with what you can do and how to get involved. And what I like to tell the young people is find something that you're passionate about. Where is your energy? You work really hard. So in your downtime, where would you like to spend that energy, that time? And it might be at crisis assistance, or it could be at Furnish for Good, there are just so many different ways. But, are you more focused on homelessness? Are you more focused on healthcare? Where is it? And then just start Googling and try to figure out how you can get plugged in. It may be just a meeting or a volunteer opportunity or, doing a clothing drive at your office. But, find a way to match what you're interested in to help others. because I think that's when you really start to get the energy and the excitement for how you can be just a small but very important change agent in the city.
Well, Emily, and on behalf of Heather Leavitt and Kat Long, your co-founders of Baby Bundles and winners all of the Charlotte Ledger 40 over 40, I'd like to give you an opportunity to let our listeners know where they can learn more about Baby Bundles and support your organization if they're so inclined.
Oh, we'd love to hear from everyone. There's so many different ways you can get involved. We have a warehouse that's always looking for volunteers just off Arrowwood Road. We're open on a regular basis. Our website is babybundlesnc.org, and that's NC as in North Carolina. We also have all of our contact information on our website. Of course, always accept donations of clothing or dollars, whatever. We also usually have a rotation of different events and an annual fundraiser in September. So we're always eager to be able to meet new potential supporters and donors and share our mission and cause with others. And so it can just spread across Charlotte and amplify.
Wonderful. Emily Harry, thank you so much for being with me on the Charlotte Ledger podcast.
Thank you, Steve.
That's it for today. The Charlotte Ledger podcast is produced by Lindsey Banks. You can find out more about the Charlotte Ledger at thecharlotteledger.com. And you can find out more about our 40 over 40 awards at ledger40over40.com.
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.